Alright, so tonight's lesson is lesson 85, which is units of capacity. And if you notice, I'm sure you've seen this before. We had it up in our room last year, and it kind of is a good example for the units that we're using. When we buy milk, water, or fruit juice at the store, we're buying a quantity of a liquid. In the U.S. customary system, liquid quantities are measured in ounces, pints, quarts, and gallons. In the metric system, liquid quantities are measured in liters and milliliters. So some examples, when you go to the store, you would buy a gallon of milk. That's that big jug. You could get a 2-liter. So when you get a big bottle of pop, it's usually in a 2-liter. Or when you get juice, sometimes that comes in a quart. So cartons and bottles have capacity. A container's capacity refers to the amount of liquid it can hold. Many containers in the U.S. customary system are related by a factor of 2. So 1 gallon is 2 half gallons, a half gallon is 2 quarts, and a quart is 2 pints. A pint is 2 cups. So I drew a kind of a diagram to show you. So here's 1 gallon, and in a gallon we have 4 quarts. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we also have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 pints. So 2 in each quart should make 8 in 1 gallon. And then in each pint we have 2 cups. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 cups in 1 gallon. So this is just kind of a good chart that you can use when dealing with cups, when dealing with pints, and when dealing with quarts, and a gallon. So our very first question, also this is just kind of, if you want to write this, well, make sure that you do copy it down. It can help you in other questions too, like 16 ounces equals 1 pint, 2 pints equals 1 quart, 4 quarts equal 1 gallon. That can help you with a lot of your problems. You should just always refer back to your charts. That they'll help you with your problems, your table. Okay, so our first question is 1 quart of juice is how many ounces? A quart of juice is how many ounces? So go back and look up. You have 2 different ways to tell. You can look from your big G. If you want to see kind of like a visual picture, you can also use the table. So when we look at the table, it tells us that a quart is 2 pints. Okay, so 1 quart equals 2 pints. And that each pint is 16 ounces. So 1 pint is 16 ounces. So then we just have to do a simple math problem. 16 times 2. Because we have 2 quarts. 16 times 2. When we do this problem, we get 32 ounces. Alright. And this is because 1 quart is 2 pints, and 16 ounces are in 1 pint. So we need 2 of them, so 32 ounces. Alright, let's try the next one. A half gallon of milk is how many quarts of milk? So go ahead, kind of look back up at the chart. We're talking about a half gallon of milk is how many quarts? Well, first, when I look up here, I have 1 gallon equals 4 quarts. Okay, but I want a half gallon. So really, if 1 gallon equals 4 quarts, and I'm cutting that gallon in half, I cut my amount of quarts in half. So if you were to write a problem, you'd say 4 divided by 2, because we're cutting it in half, so 2 quarts. Because if 1 gallon equals 4 quarts, a half gallon is going to equal 2 quarts. So really all this is, when we are converting, and we just really have to look at our charts, and then usually we're multiplying or we're adding, sometimes we're doubling or dividing. Okay, here's the next one. Go ahead and draw this. Okay, in the table we see the number of pints in 1 gallon. So in 1 gallon we have 8 pints, in 2 gallons we have 16 pints, in 3 gallons we have 24, in 4 gallons that's what we want to find out, in 5 gallons that's what we want to find out. Okay, so we're just kind of, learning how to read a chart, but also dealing with our gallons and our pints. So if 1 gallon equals 8 pints, 4 gallons equals how many pints? Well, you're going to be multiplying, okay? So, what I would do is I would take 4 times 8. And that would give me how many pints? 4 times 8? 32 pints. Alright, because 1 times 8 is 8. 2 times 8 is 16. 3 times 8 is 24. 4 times 8 is 32. 5 times 8 equals what? 40. Now why did we choose 8? Because there are 8 pints in 1 gallon. That's why we chose that. Alright, to the next one. It says a half liter equals 500 milliliters. How many milliliters are equal to 3.5 liters? Okay, well each liter, if we go up here and look at our chart up here again, this will help you too. Okay, so if you look up there, it says 1,000 milliliters. I'm just going to write it down here so you can see it. 1,000 milliliters are equal to 1 liter. Okay, so a half liter is 500 milliliters. A whole liter is 1,000 milliliters. We want to know how many are equal to 3.5 liters. Alright, so if each liter is 1,000 milliliters, okay, we would multiply that by 3 because we want 3.5. So 3 times 1,000, okay, that equals 3,000. But we're not done. We still have that half. Well, right here, half a liter tells us it's 500 milliliters. So we just add that to get 3,500 milliliters. All right. And your lesson practice. Down here, I'll read them for you if you can't see them. Number 1, a cup is 1/2 of a pint. A cup is how many ounces? Number 2, how many milliliters equals 2 liters? And number 3, how many pints equal 1 gallon?